I did that for the first time.
We got 6:30.
And now I bring her up to the.
We have 6:30. We call Sawyer County Public Works meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley,
Here.
Ed Peters.
Here.
Chris Rock,
Here.
Mark Helwig,
Here.
Brian Bissonette.
Here.
Let the record indicate we have a quorum. 3 people are here, 2 are virtual. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Aye.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. 4, certification.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5, the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 6, public comment. Anybody have anything for public comment? Ms. Silmer?
Hollyville Lane, Berkshire, Wisconsin, Edgewater property owner. And I want to preface my comments about the ATV UTV ordinance. Addressing comments I've heard in other committees, not so much in this committee. If somebody is for public safety and for consideration of the common use of county highways, that doesn't mean that they're against motorized recreational vehicles. People often get criticized that if they ask for public safety things, that it means they're opposed to that sport, and that's not the case. So I just want to repeat comments we've made in the past about the ATV UTV ordinance, that it still fails to include criteria for considering what is appropriate for opening a route or for denying it. It does not address speed limits. And many of the things that I brought forward in the Washburn County example over a year ago. And I also feel that the new highway commissioner should have an opportunity to weigh in on the ordinance before it's adopted, instead of passing on something that they're going to have to deal with going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on with number 7, we probably should stop and introduce our new acting highway commissioner, Mr. Brad Vicey. We have Mr. Ed Peters, Mr. Mark Helwig, Mr. Tweed Schuman, Lynn Fitch, and our administrator, Mr. Andy Abrao.
Nice to meet you all.
Welcome, Mr. Vicey. Number 7, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of December 7th.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Helwig, second by Mr. Peters to approve as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, maintenance department report. Mr. Hagberg was nice enough to put together a report. Everybody had a chance to look at it. Anybody have any questions regarding it? Andy, do you know what's going on down at the ambulance garage in Ojibwa, that they're having problems with the boiler?
I don't know. I know Tim's been on the working on, but I don't know the reasons why.
That's
Just I'll give a quick update on staffing too. We did offer to an applicant yesterday.
okay.
We've done a couple more interviews and made an offer.
Any accept yet or not?
Not yet.
Okay. And we're looking for 2. Okay. Thank you.
That's ambulance
Maintenance.
maintenance. Oh, okay, because.
We're looking for ambulance too.
That's the other 8 hours during the day.
Okay. We'll move on to number 9. Sawyer County Airport report. Welcome, Mr. Leslie.
First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. Get the formalities out of the way. And say welcome to Brad. We've heard your name a lot over the years at this committee. Okay, a lot.
But it was good.
It was always good, for sure. Oh, the airport's still there. Kind of hard to find it in all the snow. It's been kind of a snowpocalypse out there. Our snow blower broke down, and I really just want to say, you know, Tim's not here, and I try to say as much as I can whenever I can. Tim really does deserve some acknowledgement, because he puts a lot of time in for the airport. You know, and I don't know if he ever signed up for that in the first place, part of maintenance, but trying to keep our equipment running, keeping the airport operational, it's really nice to have Tim to help us with that. And it's nice to be able to talk to Tim about, well, just about anything airport related. Tim's kind of my guy that I call, talk to about stuff. So I just wanted to record saying that, you know, he really does a good job for us out there. That being said, our snow blower is still broken. It's not his fault. That's really set us back, our operations. The airport's just, it's tough. We've been limited to the one taxiway. If the snowbanks are too high, we're very lucky. The city kind of came in and saved us. There when we had the real heavy wet storm. Now we're in a position where our snow blower is still not running, and we're gonna work with Thompson's and start actually picking snow up with the loader, putting it into dump trucks to get it out of the way. Each and every runway light's about $400 or $500. They're on frangible couplings. They break super easy. Trying to plow around is not really an option. You know, with a snow blower, you can cut pretty clean. So we're gonna start that process tomorrow. We're still trying to get our snow blower fixed.
Is it the snow blower or the machine that runs it?
Machine that runs, it's rock solid. That front end loader has been great to us for 9 years or 8 years, how long we've had it, but apparently all the mechanisms are working on the blower. We can't get the thing to run. I don't know why, but we worked on that for about 3 hours today.
Is it hydraulic or power takeoff?
It's got its own engine,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So that's really hampered our operations. It's been difficult just posting NOTAMs and trying to keep everybody appraised of the conditions. You got these big windrows along the side of the runway, and that's not particularly safe either. We need to get them out of there, especially before we get a real hot stretch. They start getting icy again afterwards. That's,
Did you say hot?
yeah. It'll happen sooner than later. We'll have a February warm up. We seem to every other year or every 3 years. So we're gonna work on trying to get that cleaned up now anyways, because it's to the point where it's where we might break the snow blower as soon as we get it back in operation. Trying to get it. So front end loader, couple dump trucks and haul it out of the way. So it's not even one way. It's kind of the plan. Trying to think, you know, we were really busy over the holidays. Usually because of the length of our runway and snow conditions, we lose a lot of flights around the holidays. Most of the jet airplanes that come in and out, they can't hit the performance numbers to be able to come in if there's snow or ice on the runway. And couple steps, we took some rooming, some of the work that we did, we were able to accommodate a lot of flights over the holidays. So that's a real help to us at the FBO, I can tell you that. And people who fly in here from all over the place appreciate it, so they can come spend their holidays at the cabins. That's always nice to see too. So a lot of fixed wing flights coming in and out of Hayward for the medevacs too. So it's nice to be able to keep the runway open for them, because you'd be surprised how often they come in and out. Almost you don't want to know.
How about the improvement projects?
Yeah, and that's a big thing. We've had a major development when it comes to that. You'll see on the bottom of our report, if Andy, you could scroll down the improvement project, that the master plan is getting ready to start. BOA, I believe, did sign the contract with our engineer, Kaufman Associates, for starting that process, but we had a pretty big wrinkle this week. I think it was Monday this week. The state called and said that our runway project was not awarded funding for 2023 discretionary funding, meaning that we can't do the project in 2024. And yeah, that's was a surprise to everybody, because we were in the process of planning our 90% design review meeting, because the design's almost done for the project. So I know I talked with Andy a little bit about this before, but there's some users at the airport that are really concerned about that. We've had some conversations with the state every day this week, continuously, because there's no guarantee that Sawyer County will be awarded the funding again next year. Because there's a lot of people that are vying for a small amount of money from the federal government. So we've had, And this just happened today. We've been approached about the possibility of a private entity paying for the project. A user of the airport.
Hmm.
So we have some meetings scheduled here for tomorrow to discuss the aspects of that. How it works from the state and from the county perspective. I talked with Andy Tweed briefly as well. It's not exactly,
Make sure it's all kosher.
it's not a topic that comes up every day.
Yeah.
And I think that there's,
That earlier today. And that the main room over there, Peter Larson, is loaded with shit.
I didn't hear what he said.
Continue on.
So that's a major development. We have some wonderful people that utilize our airport. There's been families that have donated to the operations at the airport in the past. I remember the Johnson family funded a good portion of our fence project after they hit a deer on the runway with their jet. So it's not unheard of, but something that we're gonna have to work on and obviously report back here next month where we're at in the process, but project timeline is a big deal with that. Usually these projects take 2, 3, 4 years to get pushed through, and then all of a sudden, if there's other money available, that could bump up the project potentially as well.
We don't have audio on, so.
You don't?
Yeah, someone that does have audio on.
But I guess I'm gonna keep working with Andy and
Keep them abreast. What's going on.
probably have tweets it in maybe too with kind of some high level conversations, but exciting stuff anyways. On a more personal note, I can tell you that we started tiling in the bathroom in the terminal building today.
Good.
And I'm learning a lot about ADA bathrooms. And trying to figure out where to end the schluter and the tile. So it coincides with where you can put, the toilet paper and because everything has to be a certain height.
Pretty important.
You can never think about those things, but I'm hoping that by the month's end, it's done. I started tearing apart the terminal building in May of 2020. May of 2021. So this spring will be 2 years since we started, and it's been a long process, but I've been GCing the whole thing myself too. That was the only way we were able to make it affordable.
Yeah.
So we didn't do a lot of work during the summer months just because it didn't make sense. So, but we got a good tile guy. I'm not gonna tell you his name because then I want to make sure he keeps coming back. They're tile guys are hard to find in these parts these days. So excited to have him in there and excited to showcase the improvements in the finished product. So,
Good.
any other questions, thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, I was just gonna go back to the snow blower. So. Like Derek's pointed out, that's our main piece of equipment, really to put the snow where it needs to go. Cause you push the snow off the runway, it piles up, you need to push it. We don't want to push it back and take that time. So we spent a sizable amount of money since last winter to get it fixed. Got it back just at the very start of the season, and it broke on that first heavy snowstorm. Now we just got it back out of the shop, and there's a different problem with it. So we've been talking to the state about that as well, trying to get us, you can get a piece of snow removal equipment every 10 years. I think we're on year 8 with this one. So we're kind of tied up unless you want to go spend a couple $100,000 of our own to buy it, which we're trying to avoid that. But as far as we've got is the state did agree this week or last week to move it. They're going to start the procurement process now for that replacement. So that's about the only progress we've made on trying to get a new piece of equipment in. We've gone out, looked for options to rent a blower this size, and they just don't rent these things. They'll give you a lease payment, and you can pay it over time, which that might still be something we have to look at. We can work, that's one of the pitches we made to the state is maybe we make the first couple payments if you make the last few years of payments. But that hasn't, we haven't made any progress there, but it is a very important piece of equipment that we really need to solve for this winter, but also hopefully get something better for next year. The loader is much newer than the blower that attaches to it, so we're good on the loader side.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Derek. We'll move forward. Number 10, Highway Commissioners Report. Gary was nice enough to put together a report for us prior to leaving, and Brad may have something to add to it.
Yeah, Ron, I'm aware of the report. We do it together. So, yeah, we do it really together. So in that case, I have to change like this. He's got us brushing on B and K. We've kind of given that up, put it on the back burner because of that storm on the 14th and 15th, if everybody's aware that we got major trees and between snow and ice and shoveling bridges and everything else it has to do with snow and ice. It's we're just trying to do that, basically get these roads cleared. And so we're working hard on that. Also, we have that, we got SMA, we put that in, and we're waiting for signature back on the double C bridge.
Yeah.
And then Ron, we're gonna have to get one more member. Once that's signed, we'll have to get a, an engineer, we'll have to have one more committee member, maybe to help us. I see that he's got you listed on here and myself.
Yeah. Do you want to explain a little bit to the committee what that really is, so that the committee understands it, please?
Well, yeah, it's, you look for a design, we look for a design for the bridge and basically an engineer. We're trying to hire an engineer firm. So we'll go through and interview. We don't have to do it in person in this case, but we go through, they'd send us a packet, we'd interview each packet. And we'd make a selection on the engineer we'd like to have do the design the bridge and do the construction. So we would need one more member that would be interested in that.
So anybody from the committee want to volunteer for that?
For,
What you do is we'll meet, Brad and I will meet with some other member and we'll go through what is submitted by engineers to repair the bridge. And then pick an engineering company to do the work.
They could basically replace the deck, they're replacing the deck.
I'm seeing here any volunteers, so.
And
Oh,
raises.
did Ed raise his hand?
Well, I guess I would consider it, yes.
All right.
Either one of us can consider it.
You get a date put together and we'll share it and
Okay, we have to get
communicate with
this,
the 2 years.
they'll have to send us back the SMA signed, which I'm guessing will be back in a couple weeks, and then we'll talk. So,
Yes.
Brad, which bridge are we talking about?
Blueberry Bridge and double C.
Oh,
Yeah, we have two more, two on D and C. But this one's in the design process,
Is that
So-
okay to do it that way?
so that's when we're looking at deck replacement there, right on double C right by H there.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we didn't let it go as far as that bridge on E, we did,
oh, that was terrible.
yeah.
That was sad. I'm glad that got done when it did. We had, as you know, it was awful.
Yeah.
So. Other than that, I don't have much else.
Thank you. We go to letter B. County Road CC speed extension discussion possible action of speed ordinance of highway CC is Chippewa flowage. Kathy, you want to share anything with us? Any words of wisdom? What are the other speed limits there? Are they?
I don't think, yeah, I don't think this is Kathy, Brad, did you?
No, this is a speed limit
Oh,
by
it's
the
a road.
campground.
Yeah.
A regular campground has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I think we
Sorry.
talked about this briefly last month,
Yeah,
the extension of that. Yeah,
by the
the
campground.
25 miles per hour for this section of CC down by Lake Chippewa Campground.
I apologize.
So it's gone through the Traffic Safety Commission, I believe, and it's coming back here to go onto the board to extend that speed zone 0.814 miles in length. There's a map.
Okay, I see that now.
I would like to make a motion to approve that speed limit.
Nope, Chris has his hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna motion to approve that as well. We already went through all that last time.
Yep, so I guess Kristen.
Chris, second by.
A motion by Mr. Rust, second by Mr. Howig. Where it's 25 miles an hour, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion,
I,
opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Oh, are we supposed to use the clicker?
You're fine, you can do it, certainly do it that way, anytime.
All right.
That doesn't have to go to the board, right? It does?
Does.
Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
goes to the board.
That's. What do you got here?
Letter C, Corey Robinson driveway variance request. Now, I was looking at this earlier. And don't they request that from the highway department?
They do, but it's the board that grants it. And it's, you know, as you see, it's a control access plan. I think it
Okay.
was in 1999 that they made that access plan. There's been a couple driveways permitted by the committee in the past.
Okay,
I do know a little bit about this. We actually went and looked at the building. Me and Gary met Thompson's out there. There's some real problems where he had problems with the building where he couldn't even keep his machinery calibrated. The building's actually moving. There's so much water, it's a water problem.
okay,
And the water is running into the building that he has, the existing building.
okay,
And the guy, actually, I believe the builder bought it back. He actually bought the building back, the builder. He was,
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's, not yet, that's in negotiation.
excuse me,
Okay.
We're,
we'll get to you.
that's in negotiation. Okay, so I'm just, I didn't know, that's in negotiation, but. Then what I know about this Corey Robinson deal is, I don't know how, you know, he's got real problems there.
Okay,
So I would be in favor in my case, that I think you have to almost give the man a variance, you know.
okay,
I don't know how else he can do it. I mean, the building site itself isn't.
so the building's already there.
Right,
So how's he accessing it now?
He's here.
How they access it now?
but he can access, no, he had a approved driveway. It was in the, you know, he had a resolution when it was approved. When the control access plan was put in. He had his driveway already approved. But now, in this case, we have to approve, the committee would have to approve him a new driveway, and I believe he's in the process of possibly buying some land and having a driveway put down just past, it would be just east of the driveway where it's at now.
So if they put a new driveway in down there, is that gonna help eliminate the water problem?
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, we would probably want to have a guarantee of some type that, you know, this wouldn't happen again, but.
And we know the distance that they're gonna go down from the present driveway.
I think I do have a proposed off the plat. Proposed driveway. As it looks like it's 500 feet. 500 feet to the east
Okay,
is what he's looking at.
questions from the committee? Did you want to speak, ma'am?
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, just to clear my.
Can you stand up? Tell us your name, please.
Yep, my name's Rebecca Gill.
Okay.
Good to meet
you. Can I ask you to step up to the table because there's a microphone there, and the people that aren't here, that way they can hear you also, please? Thank you.
Yeah, so the building was built with a huge amount of defects, as you had said.
Yes.
To have water leak issues, so we are looking at a settlement basically of a buyback from the builder. Then the building would most likely, we think, be turned into a storage facility or something of that nature. This other access way would give us the opportunity to try and get the business kind of back on track.
Okay. All right, questions from the committee?
So would there be any other buildings going in at that location then, or
At the current location or the future?
the new location?
No, the future location, there would be a building going in.
Okay,
Current location, that would be up to the builder if you were to buy that back. I'm gonna guess that the answer is no.
What would we do with the existing driveway? Are we just gonna shut that down or?
Nope, that would remain for the building that exists, but basically, we run very high precision CNC machinery. And the floor is moving so much that you cannot do that.
Okay.
So, and we have water leaks that are coming into the building. We have a massive amount of things that were just done incorrectly.
So you're gonna build a new building to do your business.
Yes, that is the goal. And Gary and I had spoken about that and
Right.
he said that he was passing that out.
Yeah, see, Gary, me and Gary had talked in detail and I've been in your conversations. You know,
Right,
and
right.
talked to him and understand a little bit, and I've actually been on site at that building, and I have to agree with Corey that it's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I sunk in the mud walking in there and it wasn't wet,
Right.
and he's got real issues, I
Yeah.
agree with you, so.
Mr. Sherman,
Corey, I remember that this coming through zoning, correct? Didn't we rezone this for your business?
It was rezoned before we bought the land.
Okay,
So it was, the rezoning took place during the purchase, so that was
Sure.
contingent upon that.
and now your new proposed driveway is on different land, or did you purchase this land? This is-
Not yet, we're speaking with Lon Blakey about that. Currently, Lon offered to sell 5 acres. But we were talking with him more recently about 10 acres because the 5 was an L shape. And it wouldn't support a building being on there.
I guess I'd like to get Brian Bissonette's comment, because he knows, he's our conservation director. He knows that land pretty well. It sits right across from tribal land there.
yep, I know where it's at. Yeah.
Brian, can you comment on this?
Well, I mean, I really don't know how to comment on it. I guess the question I had mulling in my mind was, isn't this being brought to the committee a little premature? I mean, a lot of things can happen in real estate transactions and, you know, he may or may not ever own it. And so that would be the only comment that I have.
Yes, and it's a very good question. Part of the negotiations relies on this acreage being available. So if your answer was no, that we couldn't put the driveway in, then our negotiations change. So if the driveway access was allowed, then that goes to a different negotiation, basically.
Wishes of the committee.
Interesting.
and do you have some confidence that the additional property or the property that you're proposing to purchase is going to be
Suitable.
suitable for?
Yep, definitely.
Okay,
Yes, we looked at the elevation drawings, which I did not do prior to the building being built. I shouldn't have to. And my expertise is not in elevations anyways. So after the building, basically the floor was put in, it was then that I realized we had land around there that was much higher than the actual slab. You don't need to be a professional with elevations to realize we have issues here. It kind of funnels water like a bowl right down to the foundation.
And my question would be, how sure you are on this property purchase?
We are quite sure, but if it didn't go through, then we would have to go a different avenue. But Becca and I, for the past 2 years, she's my better half. For the past 2 years, we have been fighting battles constantly, one right after the other. So it's just one more battle that we get to fight is what it boils down to. That's the short answer of it.
Well,
So,
I don't want you to battle on this.
pardon me.
Cause I don't want you to battle on this.
Yeah, and that's our goal is we wanted to buy the 5 acres from Lon anyways. While with the building doing what it is doing, it just, we cannot operate our business or the sales are getting hit by that. Everything about the building is short.
It sounds to me, it's an improvement for his business. And you,
Yes,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. He does not own the parcel of land where the driveway would go,
That's
which are
correct.
actually the variance. So the land is not requesting the driveway, Mr. Robinson is. So if he doesn't own the land, there is no approval for the driveway to go there. So when you if you make a motion, you wanna
Yeah.
make a contingent upon
right,
him owning the
Okay.
property.
Sure. Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
so
That answers.
I would make the motion to approve contingent on Mr. Robinson. is it?
Yes.
Purchases the property.
I'll second that.
so the motion by Mr. Helwig to approve contingent upon they purchase the property, second by Mr. Peters. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, folks. Good
Thank
luck
you,
to
guys. Appreciate it.
The question is, do your products work?
They were very well.
What are your products?
We design mainly ice fishing products, but Beck and I do the majority of the manufacturing. We do our own injection mold design and building, machining. We injection mold our own parts. We use a molded glow that burns a lot longer. It's much more durable than painted glow. So we do, in the world that we're in, we do high-tech stuff. How about that?
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Nice
Glad we
finish.
could help you.
Pardon?
Is that I was curious as to what Venom Outdoors was when I saw this, so
Mhm.
it's got a nice webpage talking about their design
Oh,
products.
good, thank you. Letter D. ATV, UTV ordinance.
Here we go.
Right on that comment right there, we still have a issue or whatever with the LCO?
We're gonna find out right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So just so. Timeline or the ordinance that's you're gonna talk about that's in there. Gary had updated from the last meeting when we approved those. New routes down on County Road F, those are in here now. And then the only other, so the other changes since you last discussed this. You discussed the changes, but he included in the time frame of the meetings under 4.01. So that it would be the second Wednesday in April or the second Wednesday in September. Those are updated. You discussed that. And then based on some feedback we had in section 1.01, the last sentence where it says ATV, UTV operators should be aware that townships may enact regulations applicable to town roads under the authority. And the Kudre tribe we changed it so it says has enacted rather than may enact. So that they've done that. So it's based on the comment, we put that in there that's taken place already.
Okay,
But those are the updates since we last talked about it here.
let's go around. Mr. Rusk or Mr. Bissonette, and either two have any comments, thoughts?
You want to go ahead, Chris, or do you want me to? Because
You
I-
can go, you can go ahead. You've probably got a more updated version of it from the tribe than I would, so.
Well, I could probably have a million comments, and this isn't just towards the county's ordinances, the tribe's ordinance as well. We had a meeting with Kathy here. When was that, Kathy? Earlier in December?
Yes.
And to go over our LCO's ATV ordinance. Since then, man, there's been a lot of questions raised. And if I can use my influence with the tribal governing board, I want them to take another look at it. I think everything's so we could be a lot more unified in our ordinances. Right now, it's really a disaster. And I don't know, Kathy, you can make a comment on that. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we're prepared to, I'm not prepared to vote in approving this ordinance as is. As well as I'm not satisfied with LCO's ATV, UTV ordinance. So I'm going to try to get that back to the board. We need to come up with some kind of uniform ordinance. So I don't know, Kathy, did you have a comment on, based on our discussion?
Well, Mr. Bissonette, I do feel that for the time being, if we get an ordinance passed on the county roads within Sawyer County, it can be amended in the future when we get your ordinance worked out. I guess that's to me the best way to look at it moving forward for everything that I'm involved in. I understand from the meeting that I had with you and the tribal governing board, I understand your issues and concerns. And I take them seriously, but for the time being, this ordinance can be amended down the road if there's something in it that needs to be changed. And by passing this ordinance, it would give us the framework to move forward for the rest of the county until we hammer out what's going on within the reservation. I guess that's the way if you're asking me for my opinion, that's it.
Okay, sorry I asked.
I am. Go ahead, Mr. Bissonette.
So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm not, I don't feel that, I think we could do a better job of coming up with uniform ordinances. You know, we're in the dead of winter. We've got another month to iron some wrinkles out, so to speak. I don't know. That's just where I'm at.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Russ?
Yeah, I think that there's still more to work out between the tribe and the county as well. There's still safety issues that are still, I think we haven't really looked at.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm ready to vote on it this month as well.
Okay, Mr. Schuman.
I have a comment, thanks. What Brian and Chris mentioned is true, and I think Kathy as well. We had great meetings with Kathy. We had a good meeting. Brian was there with Town of Bass Lake and Justin Hall. We still need to meet with Town of Hayward and more of this committee, but there's still some things to work out. But I agree that our ordinances are still quite a ways apart, and I'd rather see all the ordinances in front of us and work out those differences. Because there's the times and everything are still quite a ways apart.
Okay.
Some of the things. And I think the sentence here captures a lot when it says the Lakota tribe has enacted regulations applicable to roads and lands within their boundaries. I mean, that's a good sentence along with other townships and the county. So we can all, there's different jurisdictions. So I think we can work together.
Okay.
But we need to do that. We need to get all these ordinances from the townships, the county and the tribe in front of us and, hammer out a plan that's going to work for everyone.
Okay.
That's what we talked with Justin about. And I know Kathy knows that we're after that too. If it's truly time sensitive, and I don't know that it is, you could try to get it passed tonight. Otherwise, let's keep going at this and try to come together something that works for all of us. That is my comment.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have one question. Do you have a date set to meet again to try to hammer this out?
Right.
What I wanted to do was get with our Attorney General and the council. Like we'd said, I believe it was just last week we had, or was it last week, Tweet, or late the week before when Justin Hall came out.
Last week.
Yeah, it was just last week. And so, you know, that's why I'm saying, I think, you know, if we hold off another month, that'll give me time to, because there's been some townships that we haven't been able to get a hold of yet. But what I'll do is I'll take the lead on it, see if we can come up with some kind of cohesiveness here. And I wouldn't expect it to take more than, I mean, we could probably vote on it next month.
Good. You okay with that, Mr. Peters? Questions, thoughts?
Well, how, somewhat back here, I was under the impression that we were going to have a joint meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't recall ever being informed of a joint meeting occurring, so,
I think the intention was that discussion happened tonight.
yes.
That's fine. Mr. Elway, comments, thoughts?
I'm just curious. What are the issues that, at least some of the issues that Brian has of our ordinance that he wouldn't
Well, yeah.
want to even,
There's a couple of things you could highlight, maybe, Mr. Bissonnette.
yeah,
Well, one of them is the actual segments of roads that the county wants to approve. Now, you know, the Tribal Governing Board, I would like them to weigh in on that, because I don't know that they're fully supportive of some of these segments that are listed in this ordinance, just as an example. So one of the things that I was mentioning to Kathy, I believe, or I've had this discussion with a few people, is once we get the, now like Bass Lake, now they've been negotiating with the tribe on what roads are gonna open, which ones are gonna close. What I wanna do is actually put it on a map. So the county roads segments can be on the map as well as the town. So the Tribal Governing Board has a visual, show them exactly what they're approving. So, but that's just an example, the road segments. And like Chris said, there's probably safety concerns too. But you know, for right now, that's my biggest holdup are the segments of county road.
Okay.
I think Brian's gonna have to come to the next meeting with that map.
Perhaps he can. Andy, you got thoughts, comments?
I had a question either maybe for Kathy and maybe for Brian. I don't know that I've ever actually seen the tribal ordinance in writing. Does somebody have a copy of that you could have?
I have a copy.
Do you have a copy for the
With
towns?
me.
No, but do you have all the ordinances that are out there?
All the
Townships?
ordinances of all the townships?
Yeah,
I should have the majority of them, yes.
just I guess maybe we could start looking at our end to see how our ordinance differs from what else is out there.
I hope you have a lot of time.
Sorry. Kathy, are the townships all pretty much the same, or they differ completely?
They're all different.
Gotcha.
Majority of them are different. They crafted their own ordinances. Some are what I consider, you know, thoroughly researched ordinances. Some are just off the cuff.
Gotcha.
And it makes it very difficult for an ATV rider traveling
Right.
from
What the hell's
township to township. They have no clue what
Right.
township they're in and what laws they're breaking.
They're all different.
Yeah, how the hell are they gonna know what to
Exactly.
do and not to do?
And one
I
of the
don't
main,
even know what township I'm in when I'm driving around.
and
So
one of the main differences between the county and the tribes is the time of operation that they allow. You know, it's not,
So
they need to move a little bit.
does
because
the
I
tribe
think the
have
tribes is
a shutdown time?
dawn to dusk. And how's that gonna work with people
Cause ours
traveling,
Ours
ice
doesn't.
fishing?
I don't agree.
All right.
You know what I mean, Ron? There's a
Yeah.
few things we gotta iron out and come
Okay,
together on.
and that's fine, and I'm willing to give another month, I mean, that's fine with me, I want to make sure that we make progress so we can get it back here, so we can move it forward, and I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But I do have a question, now that you, the way you mentioned that, Mr. Schuman, is, so the county roads that run through LCO, if we don't put a time limit on them, can the tribe put a time limit on them? I don't know.
That's a great question.
That's, there's have not asked legal to look into that, because I was hoping we didn't have to dig that deep, but that was something Mr. Schlender brought up, and that goes back to the right, I mean. And I would say what Mr. Schlender said, is that the road, the town roads on the reservation and the county roads are right of ways. And those, the contention might be that those right of ways were granted for vehicular traffic and only vehicular traffic.
No, and that's a possibility, I mean,
Would that be in a state statute somewhere, or how would, yeah,
well, I want to work with the tribe the best I can also, so if we can make headway and bring it back next month,
Yeah.
maybe we can check into that a
Yeah.
little bit.
You know,
we can-
and we all want that. You know, we all want to promote our area and tour. So,
and we all wanna work in harmony.
yes. And we don't want what Kathy mentioning where every time you jump a town line, you got, whoa, I gotta do this or that.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Drive
That's
backwards.
that's all the more reason for a more uniform code across the whole county.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. So put it on next month's agenda.
It's gonna be on the agenda next month. Yes, it is.
How does Lydia even put notes in on this? How does she?
You don't put the spot in.
So. Mr. Bissonnette, you try to move forward with that the best you can, and if you need to call somebody like prior to the meeting to work something out, let's see if we can get together and work something out.
Sure, I will.
Arrange this group.
Yeah.
With it.
And if we have to, we will meet a special time to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
we'll keep Kathy in the loop so she knows what's going on. We don't want her to be out there in the field. All right. Any other comments regarding the ordinance? Okay, we're gonna put it on the agenda next month. Thank you. Moving forward, number 11, courtroom remodeling update. If I understand correctly, last county board meeting I was not at, but there was some tours that went through.
Yeah, there was a small group of board members that did take a tour. Things are progressing, I mean, I'd say quickly inside now. Every day you can kind of see the getting things framed in and finishes are going in place, and some of the fixtures are starting to show up here in the next couple of weeks. There's some things that we purchased through our office equipment supplier that won't be here now for closer to the end, but some of the bigger items like benches and the judges' benches are gonna start being put in place in the next couple of weeks. Everything's on track still for the mid-March turnover, March 10th. And then we've communicated that with the court, and they're making their plans on how they'll transition from the current courtroom to the new courtroom, so that that can be vacated and then remodeling start on the current space. We have an update tomorrow, but as of the last meeting 2 weeks ago, there was no major changes to the timeline or budget. There's been some just continual pecking at the contingency dollars, not necessarily for any changes that we've made to the building, but as the builders go through, they find things that were not detailed in the architect's plans that they have to accommodate and make small change orders with the subcontractors.
So the architects, that comes out of their funds.
Yeah, good point, Ron.
Yeah, we wish.
They have insurance.
Just on a personal note, it must not, the tour must not have gone as well as I thought it did for me. Because I had a really bad dream that I got stuck in there.
So you drive that car of yours around, you bastard.
Yeah.
The tour was bad in your opinion, or?
No, I thought it was a great tour, like I say.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Yes, Mr. Schuman.
Are we, I'll ask Madam Clerk, are we on target with candidates for second judge or? Because that election's coming up, right?
There is one person on the ballot at this time, and I have not heard about whether or not one will run as registered writer.
Is the deadline passed?
Yes,
So we have some people signed up then, right?
Yes.
yes,
Okay, good. And that's an April election?
yes.
Okay,
Ballot should be ready by, that's gonna be a little bit.
So will that be on the ballot at the end of February or not till April?
April.
April, no primary.
Yes, there is a
Well,
primary
the-
for
for this-
Wisconsin's
For the
Supreme
choice, there is-
Court.
yeah.
Okay.
One of these.
So we have a lot of applicants to be the second judge also, don't we? Did you have more you want to add?
Nope.
I got a question. We're advertising for county commissioner or highway commissioners.
Yes, we are.
Where are we advertising at? Are you abreast of that?
Well, we had the newspaper, it's online, it's on Indeed. It's on the county's association website, I believe. We just started talking this week though about getting a little bit wider net, or at
Okay,
this point, we've only had a couple applicants.
so when it comes time to interview that special applicant that we get or yet to receive, Mr. Bicey and his co-worker out at the highway department, Teresa should be in on the interviews because.
Yep, well, Brad and I have talked. I'll actually, my plan was to confer with you on
Okay,
the committee and who we want to involve, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one way or another want Brad's involvement.
Well, one of these, thank you, one of the people.
Technically, if we don't do anything, he's.
he is the person.
I'm in. Part-time or whatever, I'll do the best I can.
yeah,
Yes.
Chairman, I want to thank Brad for stepping up into this role too.
Well, thank you.
And the committee's faith in him, and I went to that party, and Gary has a lot of faith in you,
Well, thank you.
so thank you very much.
I'll do the best I can. I don't know, I ain't no Gary, I guarantee you that, but I'll do the best I can for you. Why I'm here.
Oh, we asked.
Thank you.
Can I just go back to one thing that.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it, maybe, you know, Brad and I and Ron and I have talked. So just as an update on that storm from December 2 is, if you're at the township level, we need estimates in by Friday. We believe there'll be state disaster funds coming in to help with the you know, the costs that were incurred during the emergency, and then the cleanup costs. Like Brad and I have talked, he's putting together an estimate. Between that, there's a lot of debris in the right of ways and the ditches. When that storm happened, there was just what you do is you try to address safety issues first by making sure roads can get open, roads can get plowed. Well, the way winter happens is you cut the trees off the road, push them into the ditch, and then it snows a foot. So that debris is still out there, so we're not gonna see cleanup actually happening until spring. But I do think we're gonna get reimbursement for debris removal and some of the initial response, but it's all still in progress.
So you just mentioned come spring, we'll have to clean that stuff up, would be. Get any reimbursement for that?
That's what, yes, well, that's what we're,
We estimated that also.
yes, we're estimating that in there, and we've talked to the Wisconsin Emergency Management, and we're getting our legislators up to speed on the real, I mean. Usually this is more of a tight time frame with debris removal, but it just, like a joke with Brad, you throw somebody out there to get the trees out of the ditch, you're gonna have to tie them off and hook them to a winch to get them back out of there.
That's about it.
It's deep. So yeah, we're getting everybody aware of how the process will actually work. And, you know, Kathy's been involved in that as well because, you know, just, I mean, safety and health and safety are part of the recovery. But so is economic viability of the community, and obviously our trail systems took the same hit that the roads did, so. Kathy gave numbers to the committee on Monday. Our snowmobile ATV trail groups are over 130,000. In cleanup, Berkey is over 70,000. So the Sealy Hills trails getting cleaned up, so we're trying to, and those are generally not covered by disaster funds. But we're trying to make that happen, you know, create the case for that down in Madison.
Is there anything that might be potential for towns and villages that maybe have areas where there's been considerable work done that they might be able to apply for getting cleanup funds or?
Yeah, we're asking the towns have all been told to get their estimates, you know, what they've incurred already, plus what they estimate the cleanup costs is into us, so we turn that in with I mean, they're all under our disaster declaration. So we've got some townships.
I guess one of the things was that there are some places that are maybe not along roads and things like that, that would be, are going to be an expense to local residents if they have to clean those up. And, I mean, it's whether or not the material is on a right of way of some sort that would allow or could be cleaned up by, for example, a village or something like that.
Yeah, it does get a little touchy, whether the cleanup is on private property versus public property. So, I mean, they should bring those things forward so we can see if we can support them in somehow.
Sure.
If especially if, like you said, the work's going to be done by a public body, right? You know, the trail argument we've made is a lot of the snowmobile trails are on private property, but while they're a trail, they're essentially a public corridor. And the state's already funding them for snowmobile trails and maintenance, regular maintenance. So it's generally the public access is.
All right. Future agenda items besides the ordinance. Kathy, thank you for your participation in the ordinance stuff, and I look forward to you continuing to get through this.
I feel like my family at this point.
Do we have a contingency fund for Kathy coming to all these meetings?
No.
I have just one question,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, and maybe, I don't know if it's for you or Andy, or who's gonna monitor the effectiveness of our second courtroom? And as far as money savings.
As far as keeping it clean, it wasn't cost to clean, or, I mean, this is maintenance.
Because we spend a lot of money here, and I
That's a
want to
good
make
point.
sure that if, you know, either our jail population or our court costs or something is paying off for us moving in this direction. You
Yeah,
know, so I just throw that out there. I don't want an answer right now, but with someone or us need to look at that.
Yeah.
That we did.
so would that come under, I mean, I'm not afraid to take that, but I'm asking, would that come under public safety, because clerk of courts and stuff, who do they report to?
Question. for
Public
you.
safety.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, all of our legal court, all that's public safety.
Yeah, so I was
Yep.
leading that over.
Where are we gonna save costs?
Yeah.
Is it, we're not gonna be transporting so many out of county? We're gonna lower our jail staff.
In theory, we should be able to, well. I don't know if we'll be able to lower our jail staff, we should be able to reduce our population, because if you look at. Our jail, what do we call it, roster, yeah, like we see that, you know, half of the people in jail are pre-sentence, or they're pre-trial. even.
Waiting for court.
Waiting for court.
33? No, it's 33. Yeah, it's quite.
Sorry. So there should be, that should
flow more
should
effectively.
flow more effectively. Now, if we're gonna see something adjust to our bottom line, that's potentially a different story.
All right. I'm glad you brought that up. It's very good. point.
So, yeah, that's
Well, I
something
know
we
it's
should,
been chairman's question too, all along.
You know?
yeah. We'll have to watch it as it goes,
Mhm.
but it is part of maintenance, so we can certainly keep her dabbling in it.
I was submitting any of the airport stuff for disaster. Have we looked at any of that? Well, we had to bring the city in. But there's no more.
Get your numbers together tomorrow and get them submitted.
Yeah.
Got to be here by Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have, I'll talk to Tim and put number. What you generally try to do is throw it all in there and they'll tell you when.
Yeah.
they'll cover it.
Gotta be pertained to the storm.
Okay. We're all set. Number 13, correspondence reports, conferences. Thank you for your valuable time. Meetings adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, fellas.